Voltron Legendary Defender Season 8, the final season. So this has been a long time coming, and when the show first came out, I absolutely loved it, and I've been loving pretty much every season since then. And here we are at the end, 8 seasons in, about 78 episodes, I want to say, and a lot has happened, and a lot happens in these final 13 episodes. So I'm not gonna talk too much spoilers. So I'm gonna save that towards the end. Even then, I'm not gonna talk too much about it. It's a good show. I highly recommend it. Every time I review a season, go check out the show. It's amazing if you haven't. This season is great, good, just like the rest of them. I do have some minor complaints, but it's because it's the final season. So they wrap up a lot of things, and some of them seem quicker than others. And it's just really small things. But overall, this season was fantastic. It's more of the greatness of Voltron Legendary Defender. Great animation, great characters, funny, great action. Just a lot of amazing stuff happening here. So I really, really recommend it. And I give this season an 8. Yeah, an 8 out of 10. Like I said, I have some flaws that I want to talk about. They're more spoilery flaws, so I don't want to mention them here. So 8 out of 10. Fantastic season. I really want to talk more spoilers than anything. So if you enjoyed the show from the first season to now, you're going to enjoy this season. I think a lot of people are going to have some things they don't like about this final season. But it's something that, we all have expectations. And when certain things don't meet those expectations, we get let down a little bit. But overall, it's a fantastic season. It wraps up a lot of the loose ends. A lot of them in good ways, a lot of them in kind of ways. And like I said, I more want to talk about spoilers. So if you haven't seen the season, I'm going to talk spoilers and then talk about my thoughts about the entire series as a whole. So I'm kind of 5 and then get out of here, spoilers. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. You've been warned. So the last season, the Paladins finally made it to Earth, and the Galra had taken over. And by the end of that season, they come together through this horrible situation, and they free planet Earth, and they gather the coalition somewhat again, and decide to go back out to space to fight the final remnants of the Galra and Haggard. So this is where we pick up. The Paladins go into space with their new spaceship, the Atlas, which can transform and is amazing. I absolutely love. And through a bunch of series of events, a bunch of Altanes become evil. They all have a little mechs as strong as Voltron, or at least almost as strong, very capable. So Haggard has become this true force, and as the show goes on, we learn her true intention is to rip through realities to find a reality where she can live with her son and her husband Zarkon, so she can live the life she never got to live. Because in one of the past seasons, we saw that she was corrupted through the Quintessence Force, this being that becomes kind of important in this season, and she corrupts Zarkon, and this kind of leads to this 10,000-year war, which ends in this season. But she just wants to live this life, and it's kind of sad and interesting that she's just like, I want to live with my husband and my son the life I didn't get to live. So she wants to do this by pretty much finding a reality that suits her. But doing this, she has to destroy several other realities, including her original one. So of course Voltron and the Paladins are just like, nope, not going to happen. So they go to stop her. That's pretty much the gist of this season. Like, a bunch of things lead up to this. There's some good quiet moments, some crazy hectic moments. We learn a lot about the past and the past Paladins and everything, and Haggard and how she came to be, which we knew a little bit, but we learned a lot more. And we learned the sadness of Lotor as he was a child and how he was treated and everything. So there's a lot to process, and overall I think a lot of it was good. Like I said, the action was amazing. I love the ending battle with Haggard. She gets this giant mech robot where she fuses two robots together that become gigantic, and then Voltron and the Atlas combine into one to become this giant Voltron mech robot, and they just had this big battle for the last 2 episodes, essentially, through realities, through different worlds and everything like that. And it's pretty cool and epic. Absolutely love that. But where my flaws come in is the ending, I guess. Mostly, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to not like, Allura dies at the end of this last episode in the final season. She sacrifices herself because at the end of their battle against Haggard, they end up in this place where all realities are created and there's a bunch of weird energy strings that are realities. And Allura decides she forgives Haggard and she's like, together we can use your robots to transform the Quintessence into something light creating, like Lotor taught me to. So they decided to do that, but in the process, Allura would be, pretty much she would die in the process. So she says goodbye to the Paladins, which is very sad, especially for Lance, who this season they started dating, so very, very sad moments for them, very emotional. I did like the emotion there, but I kind of felt like it wasn't really necessary to kill off Allura. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. There's a little bit of buildup, I guess, when she gets corrupted, and I thought she was going to have to give herself up because of that corruption, but it's more of a just like, oh, to save the universe, where she could have just taught Haggard how to do it, I think, and then Haggard could have done it. I don't know, I think there's a way around saving Allura, but I guess they just felt there needed to be a big sacrifice at the end, and Allura just had to die, which was very unfortunate. It was kind of very sad, and like I said, not very necessary, and I think a lot of people are just not going to like that, because Allura was also one of the only female pilots, well, one of two of the team and main characters, and all of a sudden she has to sacrifice herself. And it's a good, noble sacrifice. I'm not saying, she didn't die honorably or anything like that, but it just kind of felt unnecessary. Just like, well, at the end, she's like, well, I gotta sacrifice myself to save all realities. Later, dudes. So it kind of felt unnecessary. Not a huge thing. Like, it didn't ruin the entire series, and I don't think it's garbage or anything. But I definitely wish they would have thought of a different way of saving the realities or saving Allura, because I really felt like she needed that happy ending, because she suffered as much as many of the other characters. She lost all her family and everything like that, and at the end she has to sacrifice herself. I guess it's a little poetic that she does sacrifice herself to save all realities in the entire universe, but it still is kind of sad, and it didn't feel good for her, just like, or the rest of the Paladins. They've offered this long, and that's their big sacrifice. Kind of sad. But overall, I think that's one of my big pet peeves. We see a little bit of scenes later, just kind of like pictures saying what the other Paladins are up to after the events of the war. One of them, what I thought was very interesting was Pidge's ending. It kind of sets up Buccal Voltron, because if you're familiar with the older show, there was Voltron Force or Voltron, and then there was Vehicle Force Voltron. I think that's what it was called. And which was a bunch of vehicles that come together to build a giant robot. And they kind of, I don't know if they play that with that idea, or they put it out there. They show some of the vehicles, and they even mentioned at the end of Pidge's story that she came together with her family to make the next Universal Defenders or something like that. Which I kind of hope they get a new season and they do have Vehicle Voltron. I think that'd be very cool and awesome. Because like I said, there's some questions at the end, because the lions all fly off on their own, and then at the end of the show, they're flying towards like this galaxy that's shaped like Allura, which is very interesting. So I don't know if they're just like, hey, the adventure isn't over, there's going to be more adventures just with different people piloting different lines or something, which could be interesting. Maybe Allura went and created a new universe, or she is creating or becoming a new universe. Just a bunch of questions right there. I didn't like that the lions also kind of took off. I thought that was just kind of like, I know they had some sentience, but just to take off at the end, like, we're no longer needed here, bye guys. It's like, yeah, well, you guys didn't come from space, you were created, so I don't know what the hell's going on with that. So hopefully there's another season or another show spin-off or something that maybe explains it or shows it, because it was just kind of, I don't know, I didn't feel satisfied too much with this ending. It felt good that the war was over and then they closed a lot of plot lines and everything like that, but still a lot of questions. There's still a lot of things that I wanted to know or wanted to see or wanted to see happen. Like Lance and Allura, I think they should have, been together towards the end, and Allura should have never died. If anyone should have sacrificed himself, Shiro, how many times has he died or almost died or sacrificed his life? It's just like, maybe it was just his time. I don't know. Maybe even Keith, someone, or maybe the lions sacrificed themselves to save the universe. Because towards the end, the old Paladins come and they help out the new Paladins. And even in the final scene where Allura goes to sacrifice herself the original Paladins are there, and they go off with her and Haggard and Lotor to restart the universes or all the realities. So it would have been poetic if they're just like, no, you guys did your job. It's time for us to finish what we started and repair all the damage that we did. And they fly out with the Alliance, and then just Voltron's gone. I felt like maybe that would have been a better ending, but that's just me. Overall, the show was good, fantastic. I love the series. It was a great reboot. I did a fantastic job with an old series, updating a lot of stuff, making very interesting things. Very amazing show. Always will highly recommend it. I wish we had a little bit more, but you know, it set out what it did or wanted to do. It told a story from beginning to end, and it was complete. And it's good, even with the flaws in it. Overall, it's a fantastic show, and it's just amazing. And I'm probably going to start watching the first season again, the beginning of the year. But overall, great show. That's pretty much everything I wanted to say. If you guys watched the show or this final season, what did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are your hopes that we'll get a new series, a follow-up series with Vehicle Voltron or with the new Paladins, if there are new Paladins out in the future? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out. Hey, if you like this video, we have several other awesome videos you can check out. And again, thanks for watching.